Hey everybody, I'm Holly, aka the ScientoloGeek, and welcome to the 22nd episode of reviewing the Data series. Now, you'll notice that I'm not wearing my signature Sea Org hat today, despite the fact that it's supposed to be Flag Order Friday. What I've decided to do is take Flag Order Friday and make it once every 2 weeks, just to throw a little extra bit in there for the policies, because that's what I really want to focus on, policies and the tech. I want to get the Data series done so I can start the Assist series. But in order to do that, I think I'm going to need to give a little bit more time to the policies, the tech, whatever series I'm doing, and then keep Flag Order Friday as like a back burner thing that'll show up every now and then. So sorry if you like Flag Order Fridays, but I want to actually get some of this technical and managerial stuff. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Let's take a look at the HCO policy letter of the 13th of October, 1970. This is issue number 2, called The Real Why.
Y, as used in logic, is subject to non-comprehension. Y equals that basic outness found which will lead to a recovery of stats. Wrong Y equals the incorrectly identified outness which when applied does not lead to recovery. A mere explanation equals a Y given as the Y that does not open the door to any recovery. Example of a mere explanation. The stats went down because of rainy weather that week. So do we now turn off rain? Another mere explanation. The staff became overwhelmed that week. In order, saying don't overwhelm staff would be the possible solution of some manager, but the stats wouldn't recover. The real Y, when found and corrected, leads straight back to improved stats. A wrong Y corrected will further depress stats. A mere explanation does nothing at all and decay continues. Here is a situation as it's followed up. The stats of an area were down. Investigation disclosed there had been sickness 2 weeks before. The report came in. The stats were down because people were sick. This was a mere explanation. Very reasonable, but it solved nothing. What do we do now? Maybe we accept this as the correct Y and give an order. All people in the area must get a medical exam, and unhealthy workers will not be accepted, and unhealthy ones will be fired. As it's a correction to a wrong Y, the stats really crash. So that's not it. Looking further, we find the real Y. In the area where there's no trained-in org BD, and a boss there gives orders to the wrong people, which, when executed, then hurt their individual stats. We org board the place and groove in the boss, and we get a stat recovery and even an improvement. The correct Y led to a stat recovery.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious that people wouldn't come in when they're sick. So, I get that unhealthy workers will not be accepted, and unhealthy ones... Why are unhealthy workers going to be fired? This is clearly a wrong solution, but it's one that's so far out in its second point, at the very least, that I don't think anyone would do it. I don't think you'd fire sick people. You don't fire sick people. That's why you have sick time. I don't think you have the wrong why. I think you have the wrong solution.
Here's another one. Stats are down in a school. An investigation comes up with a mere explanation. The students were all busy with sports.
What's the stat?
So management says no sports. Stats go down again. A new investigation comes up with a wrong Y. The students are being taught wrongly. Management sacks the dean. Stats really crash now. A further, more competent investigation occurs. It turns out that there were 140 students and only the dean and one instructor. And the dean had other duties. We put the dean back on post and hire 2 more instructors, making 3. Stats soar because we got the right Y.
You never explained what the stat was, which can help you find a decent solution.
Management and organizational catastrophes and successes are all explained by these 3 types of Y. An arbitrary is probably just a wrong Y held in by law.
Probably. Doesn't mean it is, which doesn't mean you're completely right. It means you have a chance of being wrong.
And if so held in, it will crash the place. One really has to understand logic to get to the correct Y and must really be on his toes not to use and correct a wrong Y. In world banking, where inflation occurs, finance regulations or laws are probably just one long parade of wrong whys.
Again, probably. Stop saying probably. It doesn't mean anything. It also means probably not.
The value of the money and its usefulness to the citizen deteriorate to such an extent that a whole ideology can be built up, as in Sparta by Lycurgus, who invented iron money nobody could lift in order to rid Sparta of money evils. That knocks money out entirely and puts nothing but nonsense in its place. Organizational troubles are greatly worsened by using mere explanations which lead to no remedies or wrong whys, which further depress stats. Organizational recoveries come from finding the real why and correcting it. The test of the real why is, when it's corrected, do stats recover? If they do, that was it. And any other remedial order given, but based on a wrong why, would have to be canceled quickly.
So he gave a completely unreasonable solution to a good explanation. He gave an example where he did not explain what the statistic was, and he used a lot of probably and kind of weasel words to say that it's probably wrong without actually showing why. And not everything has to be revolved around stats. I'm sorry, but you don't need to base everything around stats. But I do understand that this comes from the management series, that this comes from the management volumes, and that's going to be affiliated with the organizational management. So this was a pretty short policy letter, only about 2 pages long. And we covered the real why, and to show how a false why can ruin statistics. Because Hubbard's all obsessed with statistics. But we've seen his examples of how a wrong why can cause something to fail. I do have an interview scheduled for this coming Saturday, so the next 2 days from now. That should be uploaded sometime next week. I will give you a little hint. He was in the Sea Org. You may not know him too well. He doesn't really do many interviews. He does have his own channel, but I don't think he's posted Scientology content in a while. But yeah, he was in the Sea Org for a pretty long time, and I can't wait to talk to him and get his story, so you guys can all hear it and learn more about how crazy this group is. That's all I got. Like if you like the video, dislike if you don't. I don't care. Comment with your feedback or questions, good, bad, or sideways, and subscribe to be kept up to date on future content. I'll talk to all of you later. See ya.